I went to school in Mitchell High, which was in Blacktown, which is in Blacktown in Western Sydney. And my favorite subject was biology, because I had an interest in wanting to understand how things grow and how the world is the way it was, and especially the natural world. I'm an aquaculture nutritionist. I'm a research scientist with CSIRO, and that pretty much means I formulate the feeds that the fish eat, or fish or prawns eat. Typical day is I'm actually based on my laptop a lot because I deal with a lot of data and analyzing and writing up reports. But throughout the year, we do have trials that we run to assess the different feed ingredients in different species and different production systems. So that means that when those trials are running, I do either go out on farm or go out into the experimental room to feed the animals, look after the animals, maintain the trial system and collect that data. And then that brings me to the lab to analyze those samples. And then once all of the data is collected, then I end up sitting at my laptop quite a bit to figure out what it all means. So the research that we do is meant to be applicable to the aquaculture industry in Australia and help develop that industry. So we focus on this main species that are produced in Australia. And so those main species, for example, are salmon, which is an imported species, but we also work with native species. And for example, black tiger prawns, which are native, barramundi, and also different kinds of fish, whitefish fish like Murray cod. And then we look at how those species can be farmed more effectively in the Australian environment and where those locations could be, and how the production systems can be adapted to the climate and resources we have here. The technology advancement has been really exciting for research because it gives us a lot more tools on how to better understand the effect of our treatments on the subject. I guess for aquaculture nutrition, the sort of computing capability now is really quite good, where we are able to input data on the fly, because ingredients always change and there's variability in the nutrients. So each time we have a batch of ingredients, we can input them in our program and then adjust it for the requirements of the animals. And the programs we use are more complex, so we can actually really get precise formulations to meet those requirements. Something that's surprised me was how I can be quite specific in the research area that I'm focusing on, but then it can have broader applications in a lot of other scientific disciplines. So although I focus in nutrition, that has implications for the production systems and breeding of the animal and the health outcomes of the animal. And then that means that it's worthwhile for me to also understand those scientific areas too. So it broadens my interest. And then that means I get to work with a lot more different people and learn about their expertise. And it really broadens my horizon on the people I interact with and the things I get to learn outside of just nutrition. A useful skill to have is, I guess, just the willingness and passion to learn new things, because yeah, in research and in science, things change all the time. And I think you really have to be adaptable to current trends or new information, new technologies that become available. And that means you're constantly needing to learn and adapt to be on top of current research and findings. I guess with the sharing of information and everyone's become a lot aware of everything, I guess our role isn't so specific anymore. So although I say I'm an aquaculture nutritionist and I formulate diets, that means that I still have to do that, but then I also have to understand how that affects sustainability of the farming system and how it affects welfare, how it might affect the end product and the quality of that product, and then how does that affect the health outcomes of humans who actually eat the seafood at the end. So I guess the challenge is that you have to wear lots of hats now. You can't just be really qualified or specific in one area. And on top of that, everything has to be economical and viable for the farmer to do. So the shoes I wear to work, I bring 2 pairs, 1 pair of joggers, which is good because I can either be at my desk all day or then I have to walk around our site, which is quite big because it contains like big production ponds and there's like lots of rooms with experimental facilities. So yeah, walking running shoes help, but then my second pair has to be waterproof. So I've also got a pair of gum boots because when I'm actually in the rooms, I'm gonna get splashed, and it's better to have something to keep my feet dry. And if they do end up getting wet, then at least I have a spare pair too.
Hi, I'm representing Food Recycle Limited and I'm here today on beautiful Bribie Island, where the Queensland Government and the CSIRO have an aquaculture research facility. Food Recycle Limited has patented technology converting commercial food waste into animal feed. Today, we will be looking at the CSIRO aquaculture feed trial, where we use commercial food waste from such sources as pubs, hotels, restaurants, hospitals, supermarkets, and turn it into valuable animal feed, diverting it from landfill. Food Recycle Limited has made a variety of food waste streams for the CSIRO to blend together into a suitable aquaculture feed for prawns and barramundi. With an expected increase in prawn production in Australia, there will also be a higher demand for feed. Aquaculture feed coming from sustainable ingredients such as food waste can fill this demand as an environmentally friendly source. Food Recycle Limited has processed the various food waste streams, and the CSIRO has formulated the prawn diet from those waste streams.
We're here on Bribie Island at the Queensland Government Research Facility, where CSIRO have aquaculture research operations. This is a great collaboration between CSIRO and Food Recycle Limited. Tanks are set up in environmentally controlled rooms where treated and heated seawater are pumped into the tanks. Juvenile prawns are fed diets with different food waste streams, such as hotel, pub, restaurant, and bakery waste. These are combined in various proportions to make the prawn pellets for the trial. This is a controlled trial against a commercial aquaculture feed, so that direct comparisons can be made. The feeding trial runs for 8 weeks and is near completion. Parameters such as survival, weight gain, and feed intake are all recorded.
Once the food waste streams have been processed by Food Recycle, they're analysed for their nutrient values. The food waste streams are then blended according to the nutrient values and pelletised into the desired prawn feed here at the CSIRO aquaculture feed mill.
The pelletised feed is then fed to the juveniles in the prawn lab. In the prawn growth lab, the juvenile prawns are grown to maturity. The prawns are fed a commercial diet as a control and 2 food waste diets. The automatic feeder is set to provide a specified amount of food each day, and waste material is removed daily and tested.
In the nutrient digestibility trial, we feed prawns individual food waste streams to understand how the particular food waste stream is digested by the prawns. This trial is now underway and will determine the quality of nutrients from waste streams and how well the prawns can utilize this source. Samples are analysed in a biochemical lab located at the University of Queensland to determine contents such as protein, minerals, and the energy of each of the food waste streams. The tissue samples from the prawns are also tested. This trial will give us a good understanding of how we can utilise food waste and optimise future diets. Some food waste streams are likely to be more suitable for prawns than others, and future diet formulation and testing will allow us to maximise the use of food waste for aquaculture feeds. As the prawn feed and digestibility trial concludes, we will be performing the same trials at the CSIRO facility for Australian barramundi.
Food Recycle Limited would like to thank the CSIRO and the Kickstart program. We'd also like to thank the incredible hard-working scientists and technicians working on this project. We know that we can make aquaculture feed, but this research will allow us to maximise the benefits from food waste by producing the best possible aquaculture feed that we can.